Hey everybody, it is Ricky here. Welcome back to another Bleach Brave Souls video. Today, we're going to be checking out the most unique characters in Bleach Brave Souls, whether it be mechanics, by designs, visuals, all that good stuff. We're going to be taking a look at it today. But before we get into it, I do want to give a shout out to Masu, Mani, and as well as Kishley. Thank you so much for your comments. If you guys want to have your own comment, shout it out. Make sure to go down below, leave a comment, and I'll shout you out in the next one. So with that all being said, let us go into the first one that I actually want to show you guys. The first character I want to show you, it is this Tosho right here, the original Fullbring version of Tosho, if you will. Now you might be looking at this guy and already identify what is so special about him, because he has another 3D model with him. This is not common in Bleach Brave Souls. In fact, usually there will be one model, maybe a character sitting on a stone or something, but having a whole separate 3D model is very unique. And this guy came out a long time ago and he really looks this good. This is a really cool looking model. Also, there are a few other characters that have 3D models. The ones that I can recall are the Balgo and Osushi, the one from the Burn the Witch collaboration, and as well as the Spirit of Forever With You version of Mayuri, just to name a few. But then again, don't get it twisted, this is not normal, this is not common, but these are very nice unique characters that I hope they do make more of. But for now, we will just have to settle for these. But let me know down in the comments if you have another character that I didn't mention that has another 3D model in their design. Up next, we have this version of Grammy, the Santa Society, I believe, version of Grammy. Now, you might be wondering, looking at this guy, what is so special about him? Well, if you come to his kit over here, he's the first character, I believe, or if not, one of a few, but I'm pretty sure he's the first and only character with 2 boost moves. That is really unheard of and opens a lot of doors on how characters can be built in the future. But for now, this is the one that we do have. He is a brave, not a brave battles. He's going to be a guild quest character that has double boosts, and he's a net character, which is good. Solar Brew Killer, all the good stuff. Just his kit alone just makes him very special. As I said, this can open a lot of doors on what kits we could be receiving in the future. Maybe in the anniversary we could get a broken PvE character with 2 boost moves. Not sure how that's gonna go, but one hell of a unique ability right here. 2 boost moves. I never thought I'd see the day. Alright, the next one we're gonna be talking about, it is this Ichigo right here, the end of the year version of Ichigo. Now, we all do know that he is a very broken character, but specifically I want to mention that he's the first character to have the superior strong attack 2. Now, this strong attack is quote unquote stronger than the rest and takes longer to charge. It is stronger than the rest, but it does not take as long as they said it would. Also, he also has a lot of other abilities that do make him really good. And yeah, also Driscoll has this ability as well, but I don't have him. So we're just gonna showcase this Ichigo right here. He is the first and original one to have this ability. Very unique, not too common. They might be rolling out these later on in the future, maybe in the anniversary, but for now we do have these 2 characters, Driscoll and Ichigo. Alright, the next one is Giselle. Now, you might be wondering, what is actually special about this Giselle? But before I tell you, if you do happen to enjoy the video, if you like what you see, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, she has a very unique status element that only her character has, the original Giselle, and as well as this one, which is the dominate status ability. Now, if you don't know what this means, it basically means your opponent will fight amongst themselves. So once they get affected by the status effect, your opponents will be fighting amongst themselves. Very good for game modes such as limit breaker quests and so on. So yeah, I do believe that she is the only character in the entire game that has this status element, but I stand corrected. If you know of another character that has this, let me know down in the comments. And just a side note, something I do want to pick at, why doesn't Shinji have this? I don't understand, because Shinji's Bankai literally forces other the enemies to fight amongst themselves. So why didn't they just give him this? I don't know. But yeah, really cool status effect. Hope they do dish out the status effect to Shinji eventually in the future. But for now, at least, this is what we got. Very broken status effect. And yeah, let's go on to the next one. The next one we're going to be going over, it is the 9th anniversary of Ichigo. This will be a quick one, which is actually very fitting for this character, because I believe that he's the fastest character in the entire game, because he's got Splinter plus 3 and as well as Long Stride, which makes him a very fast character. Now he's got all these other skills, which include hit hidden enemies, which is very useful, and as well as the spiritual boost at 100%, which do make him even faster in clearing things. But just a quick one, he's, in my opinion, the fastest character in the entire game, which does make him very unique. Up next, we have the 10 years later version of Rukia. Now, she is a very beautiful character, if I do say so myself. Not like physically, you know what I mean. She's very nice to look at. Now, if we come here to her effects over here, as you can see, she does have a very interesting ability. I'm not too sure why they're not showing it here, but as you can see, she does have a main form and as well as a sub form, because they do have a button, a like 5th button over here. I'm gonna show you on screen, but she's, I think, the only character who has this button, and she transforms into her Bankai form, and then she can spend about, I think, 10 to 15 seconds in this form, and it recharges like every 30 seconds or so. I'm not too sure why we haven't seen this again, why this mechanic seems to be shelved for some reason. Maybe they just opted for the Soul Bomb transformation, I'm not too sure. But as far as I know, at least, she is the only character who does have this form of transformation. Now, I'm pretty sure we won't see this again, unfortunately, but maybe we will be pleasantly surprised in the future. But as it stands right now, she's the only character. Then again, I do stand corrected. If there's someone that I don't know of that has this ability, let me know down in the comments. But as it stands for me, she's the only character who can transform and do things this way. So very unique character indeed. Up next, we have Yuha Baha, right? Now you might be wondering, what is so interesting about this guy? I mean, he's quite a old character now, not by too long, but he is certainly aged out. But what is his special thing, right? He does have a gauge, which a lot of characters have, but if you actually forgot, he has the effect that gives him 1 additional soul bomb. That is right, he is, I believe, the first character ever to have this effect, where you fill up his gauge, and then I think it's 40 or 80 enemies or something like that, then you get another soul bomb, which is very powerful. Now in this game, as far as it stands, only 2 characters have this effect, which is this Yuha, and as well as the previous Ichigo that I did go over, the Bankai one that we just saw earlier in this video. But I just didn't want to just make him both of the effects right. I just wanted to give a little bit more variety. So this guy, he was the first one to come with this effect. Very unique effect. Opened a lot of doors in terms of what they could go, which effects they could give in terms of the gauge, right? So very unique. First character to have an additional soul bomb. That is very unique indeed. Let's go on to the next one. The next one we're going to be going over, it is the new Ururu. That is right, I actually made this video in time for the new banner. Now you might be wondering, hey, this is an easy skip. Why are we looking at this character? If you didn't read the kit, you might know that she's actually the very first character to have a technique, link slot potions, and as well as a technique droplet soul trait, a double soul trait for farmers, right? She's the very first character to have a technique, a link slot potions, and as well as a droplet drop soul trait. She's the very first character, very unique. This opens a lot of doors for future farmer characters. Maybe we can see coins and as well as crystals, droplets and coins. You know, the possibilities are endless and very useful. It's a shame that these characters aren't more desirable because they are very useful, but yeah, very unique indeed, and very useful. The next characters we're going to be looking at, it is Gin and Izuru. Now, I think you can see already what is very unique about them is that they are the very first Switch character. Now, if you don't know what this means, is that you will have another button on the buttons tab, and you can switch between the characters, which is very unique. So they have revamped this ability several times, which we'll go over slightly later in the video. But in terms of this character, this was the first of its kind and very unique because he could switch and they have different strong attacks and all that good stuff. So very unique, and you'll be surprised how many times they attempted to make switch or tag characters, right? Because they do have this one, they got the Soifon in Yoruichi and so on and so forth. So very unique concept. Looks like they did scrap it again, but yeah, it is what it is, right? Very unique though. The next unique character we have is Yin and Yang. Now, you might be wondering, this is literally the exact same thing that you showed us before with the Gin and Izuru, right? But it's not, because this character has a very interesting way to switch characters, and this isn't called a switch character. This is actually called a substitution mechanic. So you start off as Yin, I believe, and the strong attack 3 then makes you change into the other one, which is Yang, right? I think you start as Yang. Yeah, you start as Yang, and then you do the attacks, you sub out with the strong attack 3, and then you go into Yin, and then so on and so forth. So this again has been made into other characters as well, such as the Hamura and Shizuku also have this mechanic. But as I said, with a lot of these mechanics that we've discussed in this video, that it did get scrapped. Looks like we will never see this again. So even these characters themselves will not be rerunning for the next goodness knows how long. So if you have this character, very important, very rare collector's item that you've got there, because they have a very ancient mechanic that probably will never be revamped ever again. So I don't know why they stopped being innovative, but it is what it is, right? So very unique mechanic that they got here, and yeah, really cool. Also, a few honorable mentions. We can play as animals and, you know, whatever these guys are. Imagine, guys, we also have Hulk. We have our own Hulk before GTA 6. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? Hulk in Bleach Brave Souls before GTA 6. Really crazy. But yeah, very interesting times we used to be living in back in the day, and we'll probably never see these characters again, but very unique concepts and very unique characters that we used to play as back in the day. So very nice honorable mention over here. And let's get into the last character that I've been saving. Alright, here he is, guys. The last character, the most unique in my opinion, my favorite character out of this list is going to be the Aizen, the chair Aizen. Now this guy was very unique in my opinion. But you might be wondering, what's so unique? Because I mean, he just has a charge move for strong attack 3, he's ranged, you know, the pretty standard stuff. But his strong attack 3 can be charged in 3 different modes. The first mode is obviously when you just tap it and don't charge it at all. That is the first form. The second form is when you charge it for about 5 seconds or so, and that's the medium range, right? And then the third form is actually a form that you can only access if you charge the move for 30 full seconds. And it's cool because he recites the full incantation of Hado number 99, right? The dragon one, this one right here in his art, right here he does the full incantation No, wait, this is 99. I think this is Haru number 90 that he fully incants, and yeah, with that big cube. So very, very unique. But unfortunately, just like all the other mechanics, it has been scrapped. In fact, I think it has been revamped and it has been evolved into the new Strong Attack 3 charge move that we have today, because there are several prototypes before the one that we know and love today with the true Shikai Ichigo has, right? But I do think that this character is very, very cool, very unique concept, because the Strong Attack 3 fully charged can even hit harder than some soul bombs, which was very unheard of. But I guess the player base just said no, it's not worth it, it takes too long, so they decided to scrap it and revamp it. But overall, a very, very cool character in my opinion, very unique Strong Attack 3, and yeah, luckily I have him and I really, really like him. So that there, guys, is all of the unique characters that I could find in Bleach Brave Souls. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know down below if you know of any unique character that I actually missed, any unique designs. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end, and I will see you all in the next one.